Our nation enters this conflict reluctantly, yet our purpose is sure.
The conquest goes quickly, and just as quickly, a country liberated from a dictator dissolves into chaos.
Freedom's untidy, and free people are free to make mistakes and commit crimes and do bad things.
An administration eager to go to war fails disastrously to plan for its aftermath. And after 19 months of scouring the country, the truth about Saddam's weapons of mass destruction is finally revealed.
There are no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and there haven't been for a long time.
A new report by the chief U.S. weapons inspector finds that Iraq got rid of its weapons of mass destruction shortly after the first Gulf War.
I wasn't supposed to find WMD. I was supposed to find the truth. I did not fail to find WMD. I succeeded in finding the truth.
You're telling us, in addition to having no WMD stocks before the war, for the reasons you gave, Saddam chose not to have those weapons. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Those are stunning statements.
It was a terrible mistake. The CIA had said we would find stockpiles that we didn't find. It was a disaster.
And you believed it was true at the time?
Yes, so did they. They shouldn't have. I mean, there were a lot of people in the agency, in the community, that knew some of this information wasn't, as solid as it was being presented to me.
It's not just an intelligence failure. It's a failure to the very highest levels of decision-making in America. George W. Bush and Richard Bruce Cheney would have gone to war with Iraq and gotten rid of Saddam Hussein, even if there wasn't any intelligence at all.
It is at worst lies and deception. It is at best incompetence and lack of understanding.
A lot of people who purposefully used extreme rhetoric to gin up popular support for the war, there have been no consequences for them.
We sit here some 8 years later, 4,000 Americans lost their lives, maybe 100,000 Iraqis lost their lives. It cost about $1 trillion. Was it worth it? Did you give the right advice?
I think I did. If you look back at the proposition we faced after 9/11, with respect to Saddam Hussein, we were very concerned about the prospects of terrorists like the 9/11 crowd acquiring weapons of mass destruction, biological agent or nuclear weapon that they could use on the United States.
There's no question the news media didn't do its job during the run-up to the Iraq War. Far too often, the press simply accepted these sweeping assertions by the highest officials in the government without looking for the hard evidence to support it.
I was more concerned about the politics of my decision rather than what is right and what is wrong. I have prayed to God many times that He would forgive me for sending His children to die in a war that never had to happen.
Was there ever any consideration of apologizing to the American people?
I mean, apologizing would basically say the decision was a wrong decision, and I don't believe it was a wrong decision.
One of the questions that the Republican Party is going to have to ask itself is, can they say yes to anything? Can they say yes to anything?
Well, the short answer is not anything that comes from President Obama.
A chain of fierce politicking is underway.
Leaks don't happen in Washington by accident.
There's no leadership on the